It looks like today I may have a second piece of good news for you. That's right. I know it's rare when it comes to entertainment. And what's even more strange is it's actually coming out of Disney. Now, mind you, this is a rumor, it's a pretty big one, but it might help Disney a little bit to not do something that they were planning on doing and just listen to their fans for once and not completely take out anything that people view as a touchstone and an aesthetic, I guess, landmark in their parks. And you probably already guessed what I'm about to talk about. I'm going to talk about a rumor that Disney might abandon plans to destroy Rivers of America for Cars Land. Because as recent videos have shown, including one done by WDW Pro, if I can say his name right, indicates there's plenty of land all around that's buildable that they could put any of these expansions into. Yeah, so we'll jump right in. And this is, of course, coming from That Park Place with author Marvin Montanaro over there, the big movie monster. He's saying, yeah, you could end up with this actually happening. When Walt Disney announced its plans to add Cars and Villains IPs to Magic Kingdom at D23, the audience roared with excitement. Well, maybe. Disney Parks and Experiences head Josh Damaro was all smiles as he soaked in all the adulation of the crowd, but Josh had a little secret on that day. Something he didn't want the packed theater of Disney fanatics to know, because he didn't want to have the negative reaction from the super fans that he knew would show up there, where they were going to put this. Yeah. In order to get Cars in the Magic Kingdom, Disney would have to drain and destroy the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer's Island. These opening day features of Magic Kingdom specifically had Walt Disney's fingerprints all over them and represent an important time period in American history and literature, which is true. Of course, Joss wasn't about to announce that information himself. Instead, he waited until the D23 event was over and done with, a time in which he couldn't be lambasted in person by the fans he's supposed to be serving, which makes a lot of sense. The Disney company instead released some concept art along social media channels showing the Frankenstein's monster that Frontierland was to become. Gone would be the serene Old West setting. No longer would guests be able to meander along the docks beside the water or take a raft ride over to the island to get away from crowds, which, believe me, is kind of a nice escape if you're in the middle of that park. Now there would be an out of place alpine mountains and cars with cartoon faces racing about, utterly shattering the theming and turning Frontierland into some bizarre crossroad of eras, which would make absolutely no sense sitting next to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Disney, of course, expected some backlash. No, they knew they were going to get a lot of backlash. The sneaky announcement is proof of that, but according to sources close to the Disney company, executives were shocked at just how negative the reaction was. Guess what? That tells you just how out of touch you are and how much disdain you have garnered from your very biggest fans for all of the terrible decision making that you've made, which includes the Tiana's Bayou Adventure garbage that hasn't properly opened, I think, several days in a row, maybe a full week at the point of this recording. That thing is broken, piece of garbage you never should have touched. And this is something I call attraction karma. Disney, stop doing it because you're paying for it. Same thing happened with Jungle Cruise as it's falling apart and everything else. You should learn your lesson. The ghost of the old men will return and tear these things down in front of your eyes. Anyway, keep going. Scooper, WDW Pro, recently covered this topic on his YouTube channel. Yes, he did, citing sources close to the situation. According to the rumor reported by Pro, who has an amazing track record, Disney was completely flabbergasted, that's the word, as normally friendly outlets and pixie dusters, as they're sometimes known to That Park Place and the WDW Pro channel, expressed negativity towards deconstruction of Frontierland. Pro prefaced this news by stating that it is a rumor and should at this time be taken with a grain of salt. And yet, I'm one to believe it. So, if they're actually able to call this thing back from where it's going to be, which shouldn't be that hard because not one thing has been done in service of this, I think there's a time for them to plan to place it elsewhere. Now, it would require some survey of the land underneath where they were going to construct it. It would require the construction of a couple of paths, but it would require no destruction, which would reduce the expense of building something in the first place. You just have to make sure you've got proper footings in order to build this kind of enormous set of structures on, including a villain's land, which I think people have wanted. But this is awfully small for the scale and scope that we've been told about in a long, long time. We were told, like, we may even get a boutique park that was heroes versus villains, which I still think is probably one of the best concepts out there for Disney to try to do battle with Epic Universe, which is going to clean their clock starting in 2025. But hey, what do you think? Do you think this rumor will restore a little bit of faith in the Disney company, at least when it comes to the parks? Do you think it's smarter to build on fresh land where you won't have to tear anything down in the first place and add to the park rather than take away? Because this practice, when it comes to Fantasyland, is something the guests can no longer be positive about. They really did tear up Fantasyland to give you new Fantasyland, and you netted nothing out of that deal. All you got was a building that you could host some, you know, cast meet and greets with some characters, face characters. And who knows if they're actually going to be really representative, those characters going in the future. I don't know. We'll see. But let me know your thoughts about this rumor, whether or not it gives you a little bit of relief. And, let me know if you want me to do more positive stories like this. Although, technically, this is potentially positive. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Click that like button while you're down there or up there, depending upon what format you're watching this in. And do double check that you're subscribed because a lot of people are being unsubscribed. I'm so close to 25K and you can help. On that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya.